In the past, you rented out a storefront in Harlem to get your training in. Can you tell people about what this pitching layer that you created in the past? You had your own like Batcave for athletics. Can you tell us what that was like?
Yeah, in the past I had trained with a group, and I was out on Long Island, and it just became, when my throwing partner moved away to Tennessee, and it just became tough for me to really budget the time well and not feel like I was rushing. So, we were able to get our own space in Harlem, and I just kind of put everything I needed there. And I was able to train, morning or evening, pretty much whenever it made sense that day, and kind of get away from everybody and rebuild myself on my own and just kind of, take it day by day. But it was really nice to have that private space to kind of do what I needed to do and keep my mind in a good place. And it's paying off now because all that equipment from that place, which is gone now, I have here.
Yeah.
So I've been able to do stuff in my basement and outside. And, there's some stuff that I thought I would never use again because I had been training at Yankee Stadium this off season, but that's off limits. So here I am using that stuff again. So it's kind of nice.
So what was the size? Was it like a Best Buy size or something, the storefront? Well, I mean, I'm imagining like a bodega, and that's a crazy thing to think.
It was 80 feet long, 25 feet wide, very much where a bodega would go.
Wow.
The previous tenant in the space was a 9 West shoe store. It was right outside a bus stop. Subway's on the corner. It's on a very trafficked block. It was on St. Nicholas between 124th and 125th in Harlem, so a block away from the Apollo. So it's exactly what you would expect. Luckily, the ceilings were about 12 feet, so I could do throwing out to the 80 feet without any problem. And, we turfed half of it, and I put a net down at the end, like a screen, so I could throw into the screen. And we just kind of figured it out as we went along. Like we dealt with some lighting issues and some other issues, but overall, it was really awesome.
The camera's all set up. That's basically what you've brought out to your house now. So what is the current setup at home?
So my gym's in the basement. I have like all the workout equipment there, and then I have all my throwing stuff in the garage, and I just pull it out and throw in my yard. I have a bullpen catcher for the Yankees that lives about half hour away, and he drives over, and we throw, in my yard and throw off the mound once a week. And I have my cameras and all that set up, and we just try to make the most of it, try to stay ready so that when we hopefully figure something out and get going here, then my buildup won't be too long. I can just kind of get right into it.
And you've involved others. The Yankees made a massive offseason move, picking up Ace Garrett Cole, and you've been lucky enough to be able to train with him a little during quarantine. How did that come together? I saw an Instagram pic that showed him at your place.
Yeah, we just throw bullpens together that one day a week. So we just try to align our throwing to match up for that day every week. And he throws most of the time with our manager because they both live up in Greenwich. So they throw together up there in Connecticut, and that's about 15 minutes from here. So on the day of the bullpens, we come down. I mean, I have the turf mound that I had from my gym, and that's kind of the difference maker of why I ended up hosting everything. But yeah, it's been great. I mean, it almost feels like a game day, bullpen day. He comes rolling in, and we challenge each other. We try to make each other a little better and work on our game together. And it's been nice to get to know him during this time.
Yeah, did you know him before, or was it just like a sort of set up date for you guys to work out, never meeting and stuff?
Well, I knew him a little bit. And I knew him from like some Players Association meetings and competing against him. And we had some mutual friends. And then this year when he signed, I was at the stadium during his press conference because I was training that day at the stadium. And right before spring training, he moved in Connecticut. So we trained together for about a week at the stadium before heading off to Tampa. So really, I just kind of been in the right place at the right time to get to know the guy. And
yeah.
And then when we got broken up from spring training, we talked, and I told him, hey, I have a mound at my house, and let's utilize that. So, whatever you're comfortable with, we'll figure it out as we go. But let's not be strangers. And so we've kind of kept that up. And also, his wife's with him, and she's pregnant, and she comes and just kind of hangs with my wife, and they watch from a distance. And I think it's nice just to see some other people.
Yeah, it does seem. We interviewed Zach Plesac, and he had the same kind of relationship with Clevenger. Like, it seems like some guys have paired off who live near each other, who can sort of bunk up and get some practice in, rather than just, I guess, throwing against a wall or hitting into a net. So that's good.
Yeah, and also, he's really smart. So, I mean, ultimately, we kind of vibe in that way because we're both into the same stuff with baseball, and so it's nice to be able to kind of feed off of each other, and it's made for a good time. It's nice to get to see one of the best up close like that.